Oh, she started on.
No, I'm gonna pause it. I just need to get it.
No. Good evening, folks. We'll open the ordinance committee at 5:02. Sorry for the 2-minute delay. And we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Any adjustments to the agenda? Public to speak on a non-agenda item. No one in the room, no one in Zoom land. Perfect. And review of minutes. We do not. Perfect. Okay. Any correspondence? Right into the continuing business then, alternative energy ordinance. Oops, I'm so sorry. So it looks like we received them in separate, like solar, wind. Nobody had a combined one.
Yeah.
I didn't think I had seen one. Sorry for double checking. Yeah. So there wasn't any one combined document. Now, is it our directive? Yeah, our directive is to combine one, to create an alternative energy ordinance. Okay, perfect. So, everybody want to just rip off the Band-Aid and start with solar?
Okay. No, actually, I want to go to the comment because I've been the geothermal. There were, most of them had kept referring to PACE, and they were all PACE things. And it was referred to PL, which I guess is Public Law 209, Chapter 591. So the point is, all of them had to do with that, and it had more to do with like making individuals be able to ask for refunds or something. And so I think that's should be part of all the other stuff. If we do, if people have solar, people have whatever else, wind, there probably applies to the base. So we need to sort of have that as part of it for individuals.
Property assessed clean energy program.
Something like that, yes.
And then you have owners have to qualify property.
Right. But it sounds like it was an individual thing for all these alternative energies from the state, and then they would get.
But you're right, it's
something.
only referenced from this.
It was only referenced in this
Yes,
one, but it seems like it applies to all of them.
Does
Because it
Is
sounds
that
like
is that a yes, does it, or is
I
that an
think we need
assumption?
to find
Since it
out.
wasn't just, yeah, since it wasn't discussed in the others.
Or maybe it was.
Well,
and
we
I
would have
didn't-
had to have adopted the PACE, correct?
Right,
Yeah, the town of
That's-
Rangeley would have had to have adopted the property assessed clean at the PACE ordinance. I don't know that.
No, I believe that PACE is a public law in Maine.
Okay,
That's my understanding of it. But
okay, so where I'm reading the ordinances though, it says in more than one, whereas the act authorizes a municipality that has adopted a PACE ordinance.
yes,
So that's why I was thinking those would only, that kind of language would only apply if we had adopted a PACE ordinance. Now, I may be wrong.
true, but what I'm saying is us adopting a PACE ordinance should be part of our alternative energy thing. It should be part of it because it applies to all these things. And I think it does because it says under this thing, it all different kinds of talks about all different kinds of energy.
so I'm gonna be very honest. I just went through looking and
Right.
I did not read through everything.
No, I know,
by any
totally.
means. So I will spend a little time before whenever we have the next meeting
Right,
to see if I can find whether that is something we need to adopt for Rangeley, if there's anything that maybe we did adopt, whether it was in one of the land use or whatever, just for that information for the next
right,
meeting.
that's, but I think it might apply to all of this. That was my only little comment about it. So then, yes, so I just think that applies to everything, I think.
So Val, you think that the PACE would apply
Applies
to
to all
alternative,
different
to the
energies.
alternative energy ordinance
Yeah.
in its entirety?
For legislation of, and that's, again, but it was only read into the GEO. So
Yes.
That was.
Now, whether it's because this was written after that was, and these were written before, I don't know.
By more savvy.
Right, so the
Someone
point
more
is,
into the loop, who knows?
the point is, like, we should do our own and find out. if it
Due
applies.
diligence and see if that works.
That would help.
For sure.
Did you catch that communication, Marty? Sorry, there's a little bit of crosstalk.
Sorry,
Did you catch all that?
I was actually writing down notes for what I was gonna do, I'm so sorry.
Great fun. You're good.
I'll watch the meeting to catch any.
Perfect.
content.
That works for me. Okay, so did we want to go back to solar? Yes.
Where do I find all those facts?
Should be right there.
No, this is my stuff.
For ordinance?
No, I brought my planning board stuff.
Oh, because you have a plan. Do you have a planning board address?
No.
Oh, good. God.
I grabbed it
I was
all
gonna
back.
feel terrible.
But I don't have,
So
Okay.
what I can do is I can give you my binder.
no, I'm fine for tonight. Yeah.
Was it
I
sitting
can
out there?
follow
or-
along.
No, I sent it with G to
Oh.
him. This-
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's,
I didn't get it. I get this, is it agenda.
sent that with G.
Oh. I will look for that tomorrow.
So are you good? Are you comfortable with kind of?
I am, no. I'm gonna
Okay.
follow along.
So solar's just, it seems to be one of the smaller subject matters. Yes, you do.
Could you just restate what is our directive, again, in looking at all of these, over to combine or is it to establish the parameters for which Rangeley, an area would be governed by the choices of these?
We have been tasked with creating an alternative energy ordinance.
Creating an ordinance, okay, so therefore it could combine all of them.
Mhm.
It may not, but it depends on what's feasible for where. But
Whatever-
To say,
Right.
if you were to do solar, you would have to do this. And if you were gonna do, wind, you would need to do, okay.
Yes. All right. And since Marty said she will watch the tape for any notes, which one of you ladies has the first suggestion for the solar?
Well, under solar, on page 1 of the town of Lockport, which is like the second one. One is state stuff. So it's, and then there's town of Chelsea, and then there's town of Lockport. Comment on town of Rockport, page 1, where they say ground mounted solar energy system.
Which
Oh.
section is that under? Val, sorry.
Town of Rockport.
Yep. Page
And
1,
under B, section 4 definitions,
perfect.
and it says ground mounted solar energy system. And so physical size of 20,000 square feet that is not directly connected to residential structure. I thought in general, that is way too huge. I would not want that on my neighbor's property. Next door, as a residential thing, that kind of thing. So that's my only comment in Rockport.
So you believe the 20,000 square feet is too large?
Way too, more like 2,000, like the size of the house. To put it on the for what?
So do we include that now? Do we
No, I'm
make
just
that-
making a comment. We're going
Right,
to
but
comment.
do we make them, so anything inside a village has to go? or
On the
anything,
roof, yes, you
Yeah.
could do that.
Residential
Just say you
or
can't have a ground
Yeah.
mounted one.
If,
I don't know.
if possible.
But if you want to have that, I'm just saying you could have one, but 20,000 square feet is way too.
I agree 100%.
So I'm not ready to say we shouldn't have other things yet, but I'm just making that one comment. I'm not saying we can't have a ground system. But that was my one comment on
I have highlighted on here the 25 feet in height and the setback of 50 feet.
Page
That's
one,
like in-
section 5,
That's right. That's like-
dimensional requirements.
That's like right in your front yard. So, again,
Okay,
that's
so
that's not, yeah, that's kind of, if you, if it's not on your roof, and you can go 50 feet back, or 25 feet high, or 25 feet is like almost your second story. And so visually, it'd be in your front yard or your side yard, but basically, visually.
Okay. That's what we need to
So
know.
your comment is what? You
Is
don't like the
concerned.
25 feet in height?
Visually, what would it do to the town? What would it do to aesthetics if people decide to do that? I mean, I know that in some areas, it's the roof, kind of.
Right,
You
the
know,
roof is sort of.
the roof or your backyard. So, or, so many feet, if you have one, it is possible. So that's why I highlighted that, that's it.
So the ground mounted solar systems will not exceed 25 feet in height. You think that is too high?
I think it's high, but I mean,
Okay.
high for being on the ground.
Okay. And then the setback of 50 feet you'd like to see increased.
Yes.
So I think the 25-foot is the town limit on structures now.
I thought it was 35 feet. Yes.
25, I
I think shoreline is only 20.
My next comment is the. Oh, it's not the title one, it's just. Well, maybe that's what it is. Solar systems ordinances Hancock, Maine. Which is a little further along. And I thought that one overall was good. That's my comment. Is that, that I pretty much liked everything about it. It probably needs a couple things fixed, but, as a good starting point to copy and to change from, I thought it was pretty good. There you go. I was tabbed. Yep. I did too.
Perfect, okay.
We read it. Yes, I like that one too. I did like how it was very clear.
Yes.
May I interrupt and say, I thought that you guys had agreed to use Chelsea as your solar ordinance model.
We didn't read anything. We just got-
It was never voted on, but I thought that at the last meeting that we held, you guys liked Chelsea.
We haven't looked
Yes,
at
we
it.
hadn't looked at this yet.
They handed it out. This is the
That
first
was
thing.
the first count, that was the first handout.
It was withdraw the comment if I did. Because it was.
We have tried to change our.
Which is fine, no, I thought,
Because I didn't.
No, she's just trying to clarify for the
Okay,
record,
alright,
because the record did indicate that Chelsea was the starting document per the previous meeting. It was stated at a previous meeting that that document, because that's the one we had in our hand. And then we were going to work in information from anything
Okay.
else she gave
Okay,
us.
okay.
So it now sounds like there's a preference for
And
the Hancock to be the starting document.
because it covers a lot of stuff. And it was pretty clear, and I don't have any little things saying bad. There's a couple of things that have comments on, but they're very few and far between. So I thought that was an overall good start. And right after that, actually, there is the town of Whiting property assess pace ordinance. So this one obviously applies to solar. So it's pulled out of the solar. So they have. I'm assuming here.
and you like that one.
No, I'm just saying that it must apply because it's in the solar section.
And just, Marty, just so you know, in reading that one as well, I know I already said this, but anytime there's PACE language brought up, while it is public law, there's always a caveat that says
yes.
the act authorizes a municipality that has adopted a PACE ordinance.
Right.
So we need to make sure
Yeah.
that if we don't have one adopted, that we adopt it if the intent is to make it apply to the alternative energy ordinance.
Would we be able to use it in the preamble like they have?
I
where it
would
says
think
now
so, yeah.
therefore the municipality can access.
I would think so.
And maybe just.
And that was
get a
just
copy
language
of
that
so
I
we know
consistently
what-
saw
Yeah,
through,
we think
Yeah.
that's.
that we had to have adopted
So,
in order to apply.
Well, this is their thing. That's
they're-
not the state thing.
So
that's
for
their-
clarification, are we going to use the Hancock ordinance to start as a working document for us to work on?
As a baseline?
As a baseline. Well, we do. He isn't, had a chance to read it.
So
I have it in 10 minutes.
Lee is going to take the opportunity to flip through the Hancock one. I will say that it was my preference. And then if you can add the preamble for the PACE ordinance language, please, that would be awesome. We can kill a couple of birds with one stone.
That's pretty much everything that's extra is wind. That's all solar.
If you don't mind, we'll let Lee flip through that really quick, and then I'll call for a vote on if that's the one we want to. Stop it.
So main country is 2,000 square feet. So a commercial site, they're limiting to 20,000 square feet.
Can be up to.
I like that. Yes. But the industrial one is 200 acres.
It was nice.
It's my question, that's not gonna interrupt what you're trying to do, is it? So Marty, because what we're trying to accomplish is an alternative energy ordinance, which is going to encompass all of this. if we vote that this is the starting document, is it going to be easy? Have you had the opportunity to look at it and see how easy it's going to be to create it into a multi?
I don't see that that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
I don't see that any document that we use is gonna be.
Because we can just fill in and change headers and
Absolutely.
perfect. Perfect. This will be the solar section of the working document. Thank you.
Now, this C section was the petition signed by at least 50 residents. Registered to vote.
Which page and which section, Lee? Sorry.
14, the very top.
I crossed out after page 13.
Okay. It says,
It says, initiation, change of ordinance. Okay, what was your notes? What were you, what was your comment about on page 14?
I was just public written petition signed by at least, did you read that?
Yeah, that's to amend the document or
Right.
something. I crossed out amend this ordinance, because we have our own method of amending ordinances. Right?
So,
They have to do whatever.
Yeah, the language
Section.
will have to, the amendment language will have to mirror other amendment language.
so can we make a motion that we accept this as our working document?
That's what I was hoping for after you had a chance to review it.
So can I make that motion?
You absolutely can.
Make a motion that we accept the town of Hancock's ordinance as our baseline ordinance for the range lease. Our range lease. Future ordinance.
Second.
That's the second from Nancy. Just for the purpose of discussion, Marty, I do want to input that the preamble language concerning pace should be added. And that this is just the solar section, intended to be just the solar section, starting section of the alternative energy ordinance. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you, ma'am. Was that clear as mud? Thanks.
Okay, when,
All right, this is probably not gonna be exactly how this. Would that be the main wind energy act that would start
that's the state,
in chapter 34?
that's the state.
Yes, that's just all of the corresponding state statutes that Marty was gracious enough to give us so that we know exactly what we're talking about when we're dealing with it. We haven't had a chance to look at any of it, so Val, did you have any comments on any particular ones? And actually, let me start with saying, did you have one you loved? Because if you did, then comments on the other ones don't really,
Matter.
right?
Um,
Not that your comments don't matter, that's not what I meant. I just meant if you had one that you were,
looking to see it.
Okay.
It's sort of like the Penobscot, I think. Because they have a bunch of things where they say it's allowed, it's something, it's gotta be, it had setbacks, based, it was very clear, I thought.
Yes, and address noise.
Noise, yeah, where other things didn't address
Or
noise.
didn't address noise, yeah, it didn't address site plan.
And I do know,
Color evenly
which
addressed.
it did address, But there's, one of them I thought said something about the shadow bit, whatever they call it, flicker or something. Because the only time I've had it, learned anything about solar was when I went on a trip to the Netherlands. And they had one of so huge, like Empire State Building kind of thing, okay? And they did their farms. The farm would have it. And it's a way of making some money. And so it was a dairy farm. And they found they had to turn off the propellant, whatever you call it, when it was actually over the cow field, because it would make the cows spook, have a big shadow going by every time. And so they had to turn it off until the shadow passed the field, and then they could turn it back on again. So that flicker thing is a relevant thing for certain things, so it should be addressed. And one of these did address it. I don't remember which one.
It's in Vinyl Havens. The Flickr report anyway is in Vinyl Havens.
Yeah, that actually mentioned it. So I think that's something to be brought in, but overall, I'd like to pronounce that. Yes.
Not Scott does have that in there as a definition.
A definition, so we can address it, pull something in there,
Perfect.
listed stuff on it, yeah.
Yeah.
Individual impacts.
Okay,
I just saw
Letter
that.
C.
It's funny. I just saw that.
so on that one, I just have a bunch of comments, good, you know, the things that I liked about.
What I liked on that process was section 8E, the actual detailed site plan to setback line, to choose the property, line, just the whole,
Right.
the whole list to me seemed very complete.
So were you able to locate that one? So Flippanop's got one. Perfect. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to look through it. And then I do want to say, just for the record, for poor Scott, who's not here, this in no way stops any addition, you know, if you look
Right,
back through, when you
right.
find something else, you're gonna put it, this is just giving us a good starting point.
Right.
So if Scott comes back in and says he loves something else, eats something else,
Oh,
we
yeah, yeah,
can
yeah,
review at that
Yeah,
point.
this is perfect, I probably want to pull something else,
Yeah.
but this would have the most good comment, the least X, no comment.
I'd say that it's a baseline.
It's a baseline.
I just want to give Marty the baseline to start with, because
Right.
otherwise we're gonna be juggling 20,000
Right.
different documents this whole time.
Yeah.
I like that.
You good with that one? Okay, anybody want to make a motion that that's the starting document for when? See Ms. Val's hand go up?
Yeah.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? That's fine, thank you. There's that. And now to geothermal. Nancy, did you or Val have a preferred one for these? Yeah, I see
No,
that.
they really, they mostly just talk about the pace, that's
Yeah.
mostly what they talk about. Although this, when you had the little pictures about what the actually, that was really helpful,
That was very,
so good job. I don't think they bother. Geothermal go down to the ground and they're sort of like septic systems sometimes. Either they're like wells or they're like septic systems. So they, you know, they'll bother the neighbors so much. You gotta be set back because of you're doing things, you gotta be certain depths and stuff. So I find that that the geothermal would be more with the pace, helping people get their money kicked back for it. But
I had no idea.
not that it's gonna bother the neighbors. This is nothing that sticks out. No.
Sure. area with the geothermal.
Yeah.
Is actually effective. So
Yeah.
I don't think.
Doesn't even,
Doesn't really help us much here, but. Yeah, pretty much.
and the only problem well, not problem, but what I saw with this, the information with these ones is they hit that pace.
That's what they
And
are.
it doesn't really say anything.
else. Yeah, they just paste things over.
If I'm reading it right, it seems that it would be really, since it's a low ground,
Right.
so it's not really going to affect, other than maybe setbacks, preventing it in shoreland, that might be the only thing that we really need to address is something along those lines. But it seems like it would be more of a code enforcement, hey, is this going to work with my house more than specifying what size and
Right.
that, I mean, that's just my opinion in terms of having like glance through it. So.
Right.
Would this go along the lines or guidelines when someone puts in septic in a leach field,
Yeah.
parameters, because
It
it's,
seems like it would be more along those
That's what I'm
lines.
thinking.
So
so if we have something for that, here you can't be this close to someone's line, you can't be,
Right.
you can't be downward of whatever.
I believe in this area, I don't think those ones that were, they should have been coil. I don't think that works around here because we freeze so deep all the time.
You have to go down.
It goes down like going a well. And so you just go around a well. Stuff here. But anyway,
You never know.
but the only people who try, but yeah, I think if we address it that way. Limit of it. But anyway, yeah, these are only really to make pace, so we just should.
I don't think so either.
Cooling aspect for us, but 2 weeks out of the year. Yeah, I don't think there's any.
Like, both of these things are pace and they all use the same language, so they're probably just taking it from the state, whatever the state says, just, they say exactly the same thing. The Print is different. but It's agreement, it's assessment, it's district, it's loan, it's mortgage, it's program, it must be in the law, all that stuff.
So the question for us then is, do we see anything necessary for geothermal language in our alternative energy ordinance?
I would. As a builder, I don't see a need for it where we live. Now, in the future, can they figure something out? Maybe. Do we put something in there that things change, we address it then? But well, right now costs you about $15,000 to
Yeah,
pump
and that
to
furnace
pump
costs a lot.
42-degree water through your house. It doesn't make sense. In the summertime, maybe.
Right.
for cooling, but you need a radiant system to do it, so.
So, yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't see how geothermal energy would be efficient for anyone,
No, basically.
especially given the map.
Mason Dixon line down, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. I'm of the mindset that the language doesn't need to be included in the alternative energy
I agree.
ordinance, but that's just mine. Is that general consensus?
Yeah. I don't think it really applies to us.
What do you think?
I mean, I don't know, put it there to say, space order or something, but you got someone coming here and say, can we do that? Is there any ordinance? I mean, we can just say, well, no, we can now work on it, put it in. That's gonna be on.
They're still gonna have to meet the setbacks for anything.
Yeah.
On property lines. I don't have to see a massive geothermal field going in there. If it does, it's gonna be underground.
Right.
Still gonna have a satellite on it.
I mean, the geothermal such reference here is this is farther south town that has it?
They're just referencing, they're just referencing the law, they're just saying you can apply for, you can apply for. It's whatever.
There may be a couple of definitions in. There's one that says renewable energy installation.
Yeah.
And it does define like the fixture, product system, device. That may be something that we might want to incorporate, but just to kind of
Cover all our bases.
maybe it just encapsulates everything because it does list out all of the renewable sources, including but not limited to.
Yes.
And it gives an entire list.
That's something new, we want to make sure we're covering it, but that's stay set
Like
back.
it even mentions biomass, but I mean, that's not a practical residential item, but it does include it in the definition as a renewable energy. That may be one thing I can put together.
So does everyone feel good with, we've got a starting document that we can ask Marty to have available when I'm gonna put this on you? You're gonna have enough time, or do you want us to push out till
So how soon are you going to?
2 weeks is crunched, isn't it? Well, we're first and third Wednesday.
Right,
If we meet first Wednesday of next month, that's gonna, especially with budget and,
that's, yeah, and then you as well, I mean, you're kind of coming too.
yeah. Would anybody be opposed to us putting this off till a second meeting in March?
Which would be what day?
Second Wednesday.
Second
That would
Wednesday,
be the 15th
Thank
of
you.
March.
Marty.
Friday.
Yeah, do you think you're gonna?
No.
My next question would be,
To go.
I know,
Out to the
Run.
road for a first day.
run.
would we be remiss in maybe pushing out to April 1st, just to give budget season completely kind of out of the way? We should have had our public meetings by then.
That'll give you time to
If we could be
mash these
a little bit
documents
more time to
together.
get these
It'll
documents
still give
together.
Scott time to look at everything.
Right.
So that's entirely up to you folks. I'm good with
I'm
that,
good with
especially
that.
given I know exactly
No
what
rush to
Marty's
get
getting
this
ready
done.
to.
So April 5th,
April,
whatever.
what is the
The
first?
first Wednesday.
Wednesday is
in
fifth.
April, April 5th.
Perfect. Here, now you can run.
That's our next meeting.
I believe as long as everybody's good with that, I'm good with an April 5th for being the next meeting. That'll give everybody the time they need to.
And I will, if I have the document ready earlier than April 5th, I will get it to you guys as quickly as I do, and then I can print it, I can email it, whichever way you prefer to have it.
Perfect.
And then that gives you an opportunity to start.
To look at it
working
before then, yep.
Can you send me a text when you send that over, please?
I will.
This is a lot.
And so
I feel
I'm so
bad
sorry, I
texting,
jumped the
but-
gun. I went to
No,
next
no.
meeting before I went to new business, but we don't have any.
This is
That's
the.
perfect. This is a good stretch of business. Okay, so the next meeting date has been scheduled for April 5th. I'm unless somebody's got anything else to say, I'm gonna entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
So,
Thank you so much, Marty.
so the next meeting is happening April 5th.
April 5th.